Hi everyone! This is my second live that I have ever done. So, welcome if you are new to my channel. I am a professional dating and relationship coach. I work with both men and women, and that is Luna asleep in the background, all curled up. It is very rainy here. What I wanted to do this week is I wanted to jump on and just answer some of the questions that have come through either on my Instagram, my email. I'm bumping stuff. I want to be able to answer some of those questions that have come through. So, hello, welcome if you are new to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification buttons. I know I haven't posted any videos in the last 2 weeks. We have been absolutely flat out. I have just recorded a whole heap of new videos, so I am excited to be able to share them really soon. So stay tuned for that. I'll be releasing them next week. I'm actually going to start doing 2 videos per week, guys. So by you sending me questions, either Facebook, email, Instagram, it really helps me know what you want to hear and what you need help on. So please don't stop sending me questions. Even when you just do comments in the YouTube section, honestly, guys, it means that I can help you. So yeah, I just want to basically answer, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 questions that have come through that I think are common kind of questions. Maybe everyone's been asking it, but in a roundabout sort of way. And questions that I think need to be addressed. But if you have a question that you want me to answer as well, pop it in the comments section, wherever that is on your phone. And I'll try and answer it in this live as well. In the meantime, this is my new little setup. We're renovating at the moment. And so what I've done is I've set up this studio / spare bedroom / office section. Luna loves it because she can just pass out on the bed. And it's got really good lighting. So tell me if you like my setup as well in the comments. All right, guys and girls. The first question that I want to address is, should you give him the silent treatment? Should you give men the silent treatment? Should you give women the silent treatment? And if you're not aware of what the silent treatment is, basically it's where you don't talk to someone because they've hurt you or you have some sort of conflict, and you're hoping that by withholding what it is that you want to say, you will get the result that you want. The problem with the silent treatment is that even though I understand your intention behind not responding to them, it doesn't really solve the issue. Clear communication is really important in a relationship because what it does is it helps break down assumptions. Assumption is basically the enemy of communication. And if you're someone where you're finding that you have conflict in your relationship or you're just not really getting anywhere, chances are you've got a communication breakdown. Honestly, guys, it really comes down to communication breakdown and expectations. And if you're just not speaking to someone, you're punishing them, because that's what the silent treatment is. The silent treatment is essentially punishing that person, hoping that by you not speaking to them, you're sending them a signal, and then maybe they'll understand what they've done and miraculously turn around. Most of the time, it doesn't go that way. I think that consequences definitely need to be put in place. Sorry, guys, this happens every time I do a live. And if you agree, if you don't agree, and let me know if this advice helps you as well by dropping a thanks Renee down below. Okay, so communication is obviously really important in a relationship as it breaks down assumption, and it obviously sets clear boundaries. Plus, it keeps people accountable, and it helps work out what is each other's expectations. And as I was saying, if you do the silent treatment, essentially you're punishing that person. Now, consequences are important. I'm not saying that you need to all of a sudden just blurt out what it is that you need to say. You still need to talk about it. And I think that when we're silent with someone, it definitely sends a signal, which is a good thing because we want to be able to send signals and get the message across. But those signals can be either destructive or constructive. Okay? And so we want to make sure that, if you are withholding communication with someone, that it's done in a way that you're using that time to think about what it is that you clearly want to say and then saying it to that person. just going cold turkey and not saying anything to punish them is actually going to be really detrimental to your relationship. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to make them put up a wall, and it's going to make them get on the defensive. And when you have two people who are on the defensive because this person wants to be right and this one person wants to be right, you're basically working against each other. And a healthy relationship is about understanding that you're on the same team, that you want to, it's you and them versus the issue, not you and you versus them. Okay. So silent treatment isn't something that I endorse. Have I done it? Totally. Who hasn't? I think that instead take that time to hold back what it is that maybe you want to say. Think about clearly what it is that you want to say, and also think about, okay, what needs to be said, not just what you want to say, but what actually needs to be said. And then actually having a mature conversation when you've calmed down and had time to process everything. Because a lot of the time what we do is we just react out of that hurt and that pain, and then we end up finding ourselves saying things that we don't mean to say. It gets taken the wrong way, and then we're not really getting anywhere. So that is my advice in the silent treatment. The question that originally was put on the YouTube video was, should I give him the silent treatment? No. Should you give him a consequence to his action? Yes. But don't ever withhold communication if it's done in a way to punish. It's more about knowing what to say and how to say it so that you can actually get where it is that you want to get to. Okay, the second question that's come through is, how do you stop feeling insecure in a relationship, and how do you stop comparing yourself? And this is a big theme mainly with women. I find it's something that I personally used to struggle with all the time. I was constantly comparing myself to other people, especially because of social media, and we basically self-sabotage. You can be dating an amazing man and you could actually be in a really healthy relationship, but if you allow your insecurities to come in and speak doubt and fear over yourself and then act out of that doubt and fear, you will self-sabotage that relationship, and you will actually push away someone that could actually be really loving towards you. So it's really important to kind of ask yourself first, where is this fear and insecurity coming from? Is it coming from their actions? As in, are they doing things to make you feel insecure, hiding their phone, things aren't really adding up, they're putting you down? Or is it your own self? Okay, is it things that you're doing and these limiting beliefs that you have? When you're able to identify first, okay, why am I feeling this way and where is this feeling coming from? It gives you a starting point to go, okay, how can I logically and practically deal with this now? How can I make sure that, do I need help? Do I need to go see a counselor? Do I actually need some therapy? Do I need to see a coach? Do I need to be educated more in self-love? I will say this, that self-love isn't something that just magically happens overnight. Self-love is something that we have to constantly be aware of and be building on a daily basis. Doesn't mean that we have to do 50 meditations every day, and everyone has different ways to handle self-love, but it's something that we have to consistently monitor. And just even maybe speaking one phrase over yourself every day, or making sure that you eat the right amount of food, or drink water, or get enough sleep. Simple acts of self-love and self-care can really help you to start to first be in the better mind frame to then make more sensible decisions. Now remember, just because you have a fear and insecurity about something doesn't mean it's the truth. And that's the problem. A lot of times we take our feelings as indications of what the truth is, and that's not necessarily how it is. And so if you're constantly acting out of these fears and these feelings, you will then start to see them become a reality, because you're making decisions and actions that are looking to make them a reality. So if you're someone that does struggle actually with comparing yourself to others, what I would first do is make a list of all the things that you love about yourself. And if you're in a relationship, ask your partner what they love about you. And start focusing on your strengths rather than trying to feel that you have to uproot all your weaknesses. Whatever we give focus to is what is magnified. So if you're giving focuses to your strengths, guess what? Your strengths are going to be more dominant. Whereas if you're giving focus to your weaknesses will be more dominant. Okay. And basically, what do you want to do? We want to give it to the strengths. Okay. The third question is this: how do you address your husband's flirty nature? Okay, this is really interesting, and I think I might do a more serious, not serious, but like a proper YouTube video on this. But if you're dating someone or married to someone and they're very charismatic and they're very full of energy or they're naturally flirty, then I will say this, flirting is still a choice. Someone can be charismatic and energetic, which is great, but flirting takes it one step further. Okay, flirting is where they are actively trying to communicate some sort of interest, right? And that interest is usually romantically based or sexually based. That's what flirting is to me. That's Renee's definition, okay? Whereas if someone's just charismatic and fun and energetic, that's great. Now, some people take that as flirting because they're not used to having such high energy. Whereas if someone's actually flirting, meaning they're maybe touching, they're giving compliments, they're doing suggestive little conversations or touches and things like that, then that is a choice. Now, are they aware of that choice? It really depends on that person's level of, I guess, education about themselves and love and everything like that. Chances are they are aware of it, okay? So the next question has to be is what are they doing about it? And if you find that your husband has a flirting nature, then you need to address it because it's not respectful and it's not edifying to your relationship. Now, it doesn't mean you go and start punishing him and nagging him. Girls, if you want to influence positive change within your partner or your husband, then don't nag them. And I'm sure all my male followers right now would completely agree that nagging will just turn away a guy. The biggest thing that men respond to is words of affirmation. So telling them what they do right, and logic. Men respond to logic more than they do emotion. So if you're able to logically say to him, hey, I wasn't sure if you're aware, but did you realize tonight when you were talking to Clara, I don't know why I use the word Clara, I'm not name Clara. When you're talking to Clara, you actually came across a little bit flirty. And if he's like, no, I didn't, and they'll probably tend to get on the defensive because maybe they're not aware in the first place, or they're just in anything like league and relationships. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, I'll come back to the questions, guys, at the end. But if they're like, oh, I'm not really sure what you're aware of, like sometimes people aren't even aware of their behaviors, okay? So it's your job as their partner to, yes, make them aware, but not necessarily to punish them in such a way that they then don't want to actually get rid of that negative habit. You've got to affirm what they're doing right first. I had a great time tonight, honey. Really loved that we got to see some friends, but I need to tell you something. Is it okay if I ask you something? Okay, so instead of just telling, you're asking. And then if he's like, yeah, babe, like ask me whatever, you can be like, well, when you were talking to Clara, I don't know if you realized, but it actually came across as you were flirting with her. And if he's like, no, I wasn't, you could say, well, just hear me out. Like you touched her a few times, you brushed her hair out of her head, you laughed, you like, you know, maybe you didn't mean it, and I'm sure you didn't. And I know that you love me and you love our relationship, but to me, it did come across as flirting. And I just wanted to ask you if you were aware of that and just let you know how it made me feel. So what you've done is you've affirmed first, and then you've explained the situation and then asked their view and their opinion on it as well, instead of just telling them and putting them down. And that's probably going to help him lower his defenses and make him logically look at it instead of just seeing you being crazy or you being insecure. And if you can see certain behavior consistently happening and then he's in constant denial, don't feel that you have to put up with it. You know, you need to keep keeping them accountable to that behavior, because the last thing you want to do is be gaslit or be with someone who is selfish and narcissistic and just making you feel bad for actually setting a healthy standard. All right, next question. How to avoid jealousy issues in a brand new relationship? Okay, so jealousy really comes down to two things. Either you're with somebody who is making you feel insecure and they're doing things that are inappropriate, or you have insecurities before you were even with them and you're bringing them into that relationship. So you have to, again, ask yourself, where is this jealousy coming from? I think a little bit of jealousy in a relationship is healthy. I don't really like the word jealousy. Let's just say, and I don't like the word like obsessive or protectiveness, but more you want to protect your relationship in a way where you are trying to protect it from outside influences. Okay, you're not protecting it because you're possessive, you're protecting it because it's healthy. And I think we should protect our relationships. There's a lot of temptation out there, especially through social media. So it's good to be able to be aware, right? And not just be like, ah, yeah, I'm insecure. It's like, well, maybe you're not being insecure. Maybe you're actually being really realistic and their behavior actually needs to be addressed. So when it comes to jealousy, again, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is it coming from what he's doing, or is it coming just from maybe my insecurities and stuff that I haven't dealt with in the past? Address that first, work out where is it coming from, why is it there, and then you'll have the next steps, either addressing his behavior or addressing some of the inner work that you might need to do within yourself. Okay, what happens when you fall for a friend? This, I think, is a video that I want to do as well. When you fall for a friend is something that all of a sudden it becomes really awkward because they may have not been aware that you're falling for them, and it's kind of like, how do you communicate that to them without ruining a friendship? I'm not Polish, I'm actually Czech, Australian, by the way. Yeah, how do you communicate that to them without ruining a friendship and by making, like, wondering if they feel the same? What I would do first is I would start to test the waters. And a good way to do that is try to get out of the friend zone. So start hinting, start flirting, start hinting about dates. I am well, thank you. Start hinting about dates, drop in like dates. Oh, if he's like, oh, let's get coffee on the weekend, you'd be like, oh, is that a date? Little winky face. Start flirting a little bit. That is a good way to test the water, see what their reaction is. Don't make it so casual and familiar, because that's what friends do. Friends hang out, whereas people want to date who have relationships. Okay, there's a difference between hanging out and dating. So you need to try and get yourself into that dating zone rather than that friend zone. And the best way to do that is to break that familiarity that you have with them of just hanging out, and when you see them in your tracksuit pants and just like, punching each other and all that sort of stuff. You've got to kind of level it up, withhold some stuff and create some mystery again. Try and flirt a little bit and try and drop hints about dating. Now, if you want to then tell them how you feel after you've tested the waters and you think, okay, maybe they're on the same page as me, that is something that you might do in a text or a conversation, where you might feel at the right time is when you're having a glass of wine and you can feel that the energy shifted between you. And then you might say, look, I know we've been friends for 10 years and I really value our friendship, but there's something I need to tell you. And if they're like, oh, what? You'd be like, well, I think I like you. Keep it simple, guys. You're not really going to know unless you actually put yourself out there. And so often nowadays, we just want to be able to tell our feelings with already knowing the answer. But we're not going to always be able to have control of what the other person is doing. And the whole reason why we love is because there's that little bit of unknown and there's that risk in there. So, give them take that leap of faith after you've tested the waters a little bit and see how they respond. Now, if they respond saying, I don't feel the same way, then you've got your answer. And then what you need to do is say, well, okay, well, at least I know now, and I hope that we can still maintain a friendship. You might want to give it a little bit of space then, and then casually go back into the friend zone and hanging out. Things could be different, but if you live your life always wondering, then you could miss out on that opportunity. Okay, next question. How do you get a closed off guy, or maybe a guy that's introverted, to say that he's interested? So how do you find out if he's actually interested in you and have him confirm that if he's someone that isn't, talks about his emotions and maybe introverted? Okay, what I'll say is this, is most of the time people will give you an indication through their actions anyway. And if you want to see if he's interested and maybe he struggles to say it because he's not that sort of person, then what I would do is I would give him an opportunity for his actions to either say it or not say it. For example, if you are going on a date with them, or you're having a coffee with them, and you might say, well, you might do something like touch their arm. Okay, you start to flirt with them, do light little touches. How do they respond when you do light little touches? I've got messages going everywhere. That's why I'm looking at different parts of the screen, guys. So give them an opportunity to then respond in such a way where their action will confirm. For example, saying, would you like to go on a date? Obviously them saying yes or no will give you an indication of whether or not they want to keep investing. Give them an opportunity by maybe leaning in for a kiss and seeing if they kiss you back. Light touches, how do they respond? Someone that likes you will probably be a little bit more nervous, especially someone that's introverted. So that could be another good indication. Maybe they'll give compliments, but it'll be a bit fumbling because they're not used to expressing. Maybe they will get all shy. Again, that could be an indication that they like you as well. So if you create little scenarios and little opportunities, that will help you work out, maybe this guy is interested. And then what you can do is, sorry, Stan's like sending me a million messages. What you can do is you can then ask them. Like, don't be afraid to ask someone what you want to know. Again, this is one of the reasons why there's such a massive communication breakdown, is because we have so much fear of rejection, when really, guys, like, sometimes it's just easier to know straight up, is this person interested in me or not? Doesn't mean they're going to marry you. Doesn't mean that you might even want to marry them, or it might not even work out, or you might decide later on that maybe you don't like them, okay? But by at least being open and honest about this, it really will help cut down some of the confusion. All right, guys, and last question. How often should you meet somebody in a long distance relationship? Hey, I'll just look at this question. I've been on a dating site for a while and I really want to meet someone who can constantly go for the next day, but I don't know why. It's really hard. Oh, I hear you, girlfriend. I will talk about that in a second. Sorry, guys, I'm just seeing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'll just answer some of those questions quickly. I'm born, Goddess TV Berry. I'm born in June the 21st. Just want to know if I'm compatible with a guy born in January 18th. Guys, if there's something you should know about me, I don't believe that star signs are compatibility stuff. I believe that compatibility is more than just, is this birth date aligned with this birth date? I believe that compatibility is about common goals, common values, your capacity to grow through trials together, their capacity to be able to give you the fundamentals. That's what I believe compatibility is. And the only way you're going to know that is if you date someone and get to know their character over time. Okay, so back to that question, how often to meet someone in a long distance relationship? If you guys have followed my journey for the last several years, we did a long distance relationship not by choice, we had to because of circumstances, for 4.5 years. And we tried to make it a goal to see each other at least once every 3 months. And that's still a really long time to go without seeing each other. Now, during those 3 months that we were apart, I think the longest we had apart was 4 months. We were always videoing, we were always calling every single day. So there was still that level of interaction visually with each other, as well as, verbally communicating in between seeing each other every 3 months. I would suggest not to go any longer than 3 months, because it's really, really hard to establish a strong connection and a relationship where you can still unify your lives. I understand that it's not possible for everyone. It depends if your long distance relationship is just cities or if it's just countries, obviously time zones. Try and plan seeing each other into your year instead of it just being a last minute thing. So plan your budget around that, plan your work holidays around that, so that you can have future commitments of seeing each other, so that you feel like your relationship is progressing and you're not just kind of hoping to the next time to see each other. And definitely up the visuals during that time and communicate daily. Okay, so I'm just going to read some of those questions. Okay, so I want to ask something. Are there still any women who wants to be stay-at-home mums out there? Well, I'm probably not the person to answer that, but if you watch Love is Blind, what's her name? She's not Jessica, the other brunette that's dating Barnett. I don't know. She said that she wanted to be stay-at-home mum. But that's a whole nother YouTube video for another day when it comes to Love is Blind. I think that there are a lot of women who are out there wanting to be stay-at-home mums, especially now because you can work from home. Being a nurturer is one of the main qualities that women have. And so wanting to have babies and nurture those babies at home are obviously really common things that women want to do. I think that you shouldn't base your choice of dating a woman purely to see if she just wants to stay at home. I think that, there's a whole lot of other things that come into that as well. Okay, so I'll just answer some more of those questions. Okay, what are your thoughts on red pill and men go their own way community and the dating area in Me Too? Sorry, all these questions like pop up and then just like run away. Okay, so I've been saying this for ages, and I know I promised it. I am going to do a video on the MGTOW, Men Go Their Own Way movement. I think I can actually understand why that has come about, and I can understand and empathize with why the Me Too movement have come about. I coach male clients and female clients, so I see both perspectives. I think that we're not enemies. That's what I think. I think that trying to fight one extreme with another extreme isn't going to solve the problem. And that if we're able to learn how to communicate our expectations healthily without coming across from this place of self-entitlement or I'm the victim, that's when I think we're going to get progress in love. Hi Renee, what are your thoughts on dating apps? Okay, guys, I have just finished filming a brand new review for a dating app, and I will be releasing it next week. And this dating app is, I'm not going to say the name now, it's a little bit of a secret. It is a dating app that I've been following for the last 2 years or more, and I really, really, really like them. It's a really good dating app. So I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons about that dating app. I will say this. There are some amazing dating apps out there, and if you know how to use them strategically, you're going to get way better results rather than just going on a dating app and just kind of not really knowing what to do and like just swiping away, okay? If you know how, like, different apps have different features, so if you're able to use them strategically, they can actually really help you. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a dating coach. Guys, I see statistics. I actually have a lot of these apps come to me before they're even released as well. So I really see what's out there, and there are some amazing apps out there. It's about quality over keeps jumping in and out. What do I mean about basing my choice on choosing a stay-at-home mum? Okay, so what I mean by that is if you have a certain idea of what you want your future wife to be, which it maybe is like, I want her to be a stay-at-home mum, totally fine, you're allowed to have that. Make sure that that's not the only prerequisite. Make sure it's like, okay, well, I want her to be someone nurturing and look after our children. Awesome. But, you know, make sure that she's got other things that are important and fundamental to be able to build in a relationship. Okay. Hi Renee, there's this guy that I invited to hang out. We were group mates before. He's sweet and I can tell he cares about me, but how do I know if he's interested or just very nice to me? Okay, that's a really good question. I think I should do a YouTube video on that. How do you know if he's nice, just being nice, or if he's interested? If a man is interested, he will probably start to initiate some sort of flirting and touching, as in like maybe lightly touching you, trying to make you laugh. He will, if there's other men around you, he may get a little bit on the defensive about other men around you. If you say things to him like, oh, you know, I was talking to Tim the other day, and if he gets defensive about you talking to Tim, that could be an indication that he likes you, and that hence why he feels a little bit jealous. So definitely few little tests like that. How he treats you, how he makes you feel, and how he responds when other males are mentioned is probably a good way to start. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that will be about it. Let me just see. What else have I got to say? All right, guys, I think, okay. Oh, Jenna, I wanted to answer your question. I've been on a dating site for a while and really want to meet someone who can constantly go for the next date, but I don't know why it's really hard, and I feel like I've been bored of dating. Yeah, you know what, guys? Oh, shit, sorry. Almost made it through without dropping the phone. Okay, so this is something that I see happen all the time. Because we have access to dating apps, we actually find it really hard to go on dates, which is ridiculous. And that's because people are just living textual relationships. We're just happy to just text instead of actually meeting someone in real life. So what I would do is I would not share too much via text. And if they want to get to know you, then they have to get to know you in person. If you just give them everything through a texting conversation, then they don't really have much of a reason to want to start initiating the face-to-face date straight away. And also the dating app that I'll be reviewing, like I've already reviewed and I'll be releasing next week on my channel. That's why I like this dating app, because it's actually about like setting up people to go on live dates. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Well, hope that this blessed you and that you are having an amazing week. If this has helped you, drop a thanks, Renee, down below. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to try and do these live Q&As a little bit more. So let me know if you want me to do that or anything else that you want me to do on my channel. As I said, guys, I've got a whole heap of new videos coming out. If you haven't checked out my free masterclass and you're a woman wanting to find an emotionally available man, check that out. I will link it down below later on when I do the description. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up and a thanks, Renee, and turn on the notifications for when all those new videos drop. And I'll see you guys really soon. Bye for now.